Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we will be touching quite unusual topic. I spent like a full year of my life to understand what's going on and to find a fix to the sound of my amplifier, which I own for 5 years now. And it's a really nice amplifier. It's Rotel 1592 with a high power output of 200 watts per 8 ohm per channel with a damping factor of 600. And I mostly was enjoying it. However, my audiophile friends tell me that the sound is not as good as it can be, and I was trying to find what's the difference and what's wrong, and it's was coming for years. And as you remember, last year I bought another amplifier. It's a Sony TFA-777ES series, and this amplifier is really great with exclusion that is less powerful. It's about 90 watts per 8 ohm per channel, and damping factor is 100. So, but it did sound more linear. Right away, I started to hear better on the frequency. I hear it more linear, with better and more controlled bass. And really, it was really different sounding. But what I mentioned, the sound was the specifically albums which I remember from 90s, 70s, 1980s did sound like exactly as I remember them. This summer, so I was listening one amplifier to another amplifier, switching them every month or 2 months. I believe for last year I switched it 6 to 7 times between them, trying to understand what I want to hear, what I want to listen, and what was the difference. This summer I went to the event in our local stereo store to listen 702 and 801 speakers on the best amplifiers and listen how it should sound. I remember how it sound, get the same songs and play it on my both amplifiers. Immediately hear that Sony plays correct, and there was going something pretty wrong with Rotel, even if it plays and controls speakers better, right? On the top high end, high frequencies softer, not that harsh, and was bass was different. It was deeper, right, more powerful, but at the same time it was slower, comparing to Sony. Sony had a very quick bass, right? And that was bothering me. I cannot decide what out of two amplifier I like the more, so I continue switching between them, unless recently my audiophile friend sent me the diagram of impedance, right? And over the last year I was also chatting with ChatGPT, what could be the reason, why the sounds are different, what would be the issue with the design, how it may be corrected. I was spending hours with ChatGPT trying to understand what can affect sound a specific way, right? And when my friend sent me this diagram, as you may see currently on the screen, with my speaker impedance, which has been measured by stereophile, and thanks to them for posting this diagram, I realized that that's exactly what I hear, right? And I hear way more increased bass in the low range area, when at the same time there is a deep in the vocals. And I really don't like the deep, because it was sounding not very natural. And there is a second deep in the high area, around 8 to 10 kilohertz, which I definitely hear right away, right, when I compare the sound of amplifiers. That makes me think okay, what could be the root cause? We started doing another round of analysis with ChatGPT. What could affect? We came to conclusion that highly probably that negative feedback loop, which is intended in the modular amplifiers to correct error and reduce distortions like THD. And that speaker impedance is affecting the negative feedback loop, which in result affecting the sound pattern of the amplifier. Additionally, there was a couple more interesting things which I observed over the last years. I've been looking into reviews for my speakers from different really good and trusted channels, and I will be able to confirm that, yeah, when I pump up the volume, I hear that my speakers, I hear better, I hear sound which I don't hear when the volume is lower. I hear more details, I hear high frequencies better, and so on and so on. And next analysis which I was doing, I was reviewing schematics and differences. There is no schematic for Rotel 1592 available, but there is a schematic for Sony, which I believe sound really good and I trust it. And I started the review and I found so there is a coil between output of the amplifier and the speakers, pretty small coil over the thick wire. And I started to chatting with ChatGPT to better understand a reason for this coil introduction and what role it plays, right? And there was two big answers which pushed me into my next conclusions. First of all, answer number one, that this coil prevents this negative feedback loop to oscillate on the high frequencies, right? Beyond the area of hearable area, and prevents it from speakers to burn out, specifically high frequency tweeters. And the second part was that this coil separates how speaker impedance affects the amplifier performance, right? That's where I started to think, okay, I have a video which I created early when I was working on my Rotel amplifier. So I pull up this video and pull up the part when I was reviewing the output of this amplifier. And here is the difference comes, as you may see on the images. The primary output, the speakers say, it has a relay, and you see the thick wires which comes directly from the power amplifier boards, and these thick wires comes to this relay, and relay connects to the output directly, as you may see. And on the next image, you may see the speakers B output. And speakers B output includes the coils, right? And this, you see the wires which connects signal from the speakers A to speakers B, a little bit thinner, but still good enough, right? Because specifically the distance is shorter, so I don't believe they can distort anything, but there are coils, right? And there is no wires going back to the speaker A outputs. So I started to think so probably there is a specifics of the design, or maybe they forget something, or maybe there's a bug in the design. I'm not sure what's there, right? But I decided to try the simple and really easy switch, reconnect speakers to output B, go to amplifier control and switch. There is a buttons on the front panel, switch speakers A, B on, off, and there is buttons on the remote. So and I switched it, and I did not believe my ears. The sound normalized. It became the same, linear as coming from Sony amplifier. And what is more, like which I like it, that it still remains like in a good control of my speakers, like considering the high current output and like high damping factor, it still controls speakers super well. So now that amplifier performs like as it should be, considering its price, considering its reputation as a really good amplifier, and it's priced on many channels and many videos, and like many stores are really selling it, and the sound like is way better. And speakers B output works like 10-fold better for B than speakers A output. It's normalized, it's linear, it sounds like now the same way as I compare it to other good powerful amplifiers. And detail level is increased greatly because like there is no more deep in the high range. There is no deeps in the vocals, so it performs really well. So that's my recommendation for you, like $0 to try, right? 10 seconds to spend of your time. If you own Rotel 1592, try to reconnect your speakers to the output B, and let me know in the comments under this video, are you having the similar impression? Because like again, like Bowers and Wilkins are quite complex, complicated speakers in area of their characteristics. So the impedance goes up and down significantly. There are like phase change due to complex filters, not filters, crossovers, right? And all these were affecting amplifier. Now it don't affect, and like amplifier controls speakers way better, and I way more enjoying now with the speaker's response. All right. So that would be it for this video. Please comment, did it help you, or like did it or did not have that big effect on your speakers if the crossovers are simpler or like impedance is simpler on the speakers. But for me, it's a really drastic change, and I really don't understand like why amplifier with two speaker outputs has that different characteristics on the output. All right. So thanks for your time. Thanks for your attention. It was a long speech, but I hope you still enjoyed my channel. And I see you in my next adventures. And bye-bye.